Okay. Welcome to the Book Talk Babes podcast, where we will be discussing. Damn it, y'all!
Sorry.
I'm gonna mute you.
Just you gave us every time you start, you just give us a look. It sets me off.
I'm not even like looking at y'all though. I'm looking
I know.
above you. Like I have the script right above y'all.
Okay.
So I'm not even
go.
I'm not even
go.
looking. So yeah, you don't look at me if you
Okay, go.
Welcome to the Book Talk Babes podcast, where we will be discussing different book-related topics and occasionally specific books. This episode may contain spoilers, so please check the episode description for a list of books that were spoiled. My name is Ashley, and today I am joined by my two lovely friends, Elaine.
Hello.
And Liana.
Hi.
This episode may contain explicit language. You've been warned.
And spoilers and shocking, revealing secrets about your daughter's sexual preferences.
No, that's not gonna be in this episode. That's a special that we're doing separate. Keep that for next time.
We never know.
I almost lost it again doing the thing because although I'm not looking at y'all when I'm reading it, I can see you out of the corner of my eye, Leona. Feel like you were barely holding it together, and then I started to almost laugh.
I was, and then I looked, and Elaine was turned away.
Yeah.
I
was trying to open my water without making noise.
That's okay. I can always mute your that part of your audio. Thank you, returning listeners. Welcome, new ones. I think that's the usual for our intro nonsense. So cute.
yeah.
Today we are going to talk about books we had to read in school or do book reports on. I even threw in some poems I had to read. Ooh, kind of.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. I think maybe.
So it's funny. I did my homework, sort of. Where'd it go? So there was a Robert Frost poem I had to memorize. And of course, in my notes, I just wrote Robert Frost poem instead of writing the fucking title because I'm an idiot.
I don't remember any poems.
The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost is something I had to memorize and say in front of my whole class. So that was fun. And then I think you got points off for each line you couldn't remember or something. I also had to memorize some sort of dragon poem in the 6th grade, but I don't remember at all what it was called.
I forgot that's what we were talking about today. I was not ready, but it's okay. Because I thought we were doing our little special episode first, but never mind. We're good. I slept for 5 hours during the day today, so I'm a little loopy. I don't really know what time of day it is. Oh, earlier, never mind. Sorry. My thought flew away. So I finished ruling Sixth Hand. And he's my favorite.
Oh.
I think it's my favorite book of the 7, honestly.
Okay.
Gosh, it's a slow burn, of course.
Of course.
But I mean, considering what this poor goth boy went through, I don't blame him. And also, both of them sound really hot, and I would want to be their third.
Okay.
I haven't. Yeah, of all 7, I have never thought I want to be a third in this, but no, was Sophia and Sixth Hand. I want to be the third. I will be their unicorn. I will make that sacrifice. No, it's really, really good. I made the mistake of finishing it on a work night at midnight, and then I was too wound up to go to sleep. And I finished it, and I was really upset because, once again, Clickany is not real. And Sixth Hand is not real. And I am not Sophia.
No.
Also, I've taken to regaling my friends at work during lunchtime with these stories.
Oh, really?
And I was telling them about Sixth Hand and where they live, which is, I think it's called Rulatica.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're called Rulans. And one of the girls, she's very like goth / emo. And she's like, I want to live here. I'm like, I know, right? It sounds so cool. Because everything's like metal and industrial and spooky.
Okay.
And it's very stormy. And they all like ride dragons.
Ooh, thanks.
That's awesome.
And everyone is like tattooed. And yeah, they seem like a very intense, passionate people. And I'm like, I would love to be with these people. But then my other friend, who's all like happy rainbows and sunshine, was like, this place sounds awful. So yeah, I was explaining it to everyone. And I even told my friend, Sophia, she's supposed to be like this pale person with like really long black hair. And one of my friends is pale with really long black hair. And she's like, oh, it's me. And then I showed them some of the fan art and she was like, ooh. And then the other friend was like, I don't know about that. I was like, how dare you? Sixth Hand is perfect. He's perfect. But yeah.
That's funny. I need to read those or finish reading them.
How far did you get, Ashley?
I've only read the first two. I've been feeling extremely overwhelmed with like what books to read next.
Yeah.
I have not listened, I don't think, to a single audiobook this entire week.
Oh, wow.
Which is like, that's unheard of for me.
See, I pick these up. The only reason I finish these is because I don't know what else to read. And everything that I try to read just feels a little bit too like heavy and world building. And I'm not into that. And so I was like, let's go back to Clickany. Let's see what they're up to.
Yeah. I just need to get like, I don't know. Like I have audiobooks and I've got a few physical books that like I'm reading. So obviously I can't like read those while I'm working. Yeah, I just haven't picked an audiobook to listen to. So I've just been listening to podcasts all week. So it's weird. It's been weird. And then there's books I really want to start. And then I'm like, no, I can't start those yet because I got to finish this other stuff first. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel I'm like in a slump. I'm in a reading slump, sort of.
I am too. I think it's just because my brain is tired from thinking too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Elaine, did you finish Maxu?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
I was going to try to finish it last night, but Railed by the Leprechaun came out. So I didn't like that.
Yeah, I did.
I am so excited.
I did read some Maxu during my lunch break, but then I started the Easter Bunny because I was like, we're probably going to talk about this soon. So let's read this.
Yeah, I need to download those so we can present them for Liana.
Yay.
I can't wait for the St. Patrick's Day thing. I'm very proud of the PowerPoint presentation I put together since
oh my goodness.
I haven't made one of those in a long time. so long I can't even remember the last time I would have needed to make one.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime in high school, I'm sure.
Yeah, sometime in high school.
All right. So I have a list here of books. And I was trying to go back like as far as I could remember. What's funny is I started looking at lists of books and I was like looking at the covers and I was like, oh, I remember reading that. Oh, I remember reading that. I don't remember what it's about,
Yeah.
but I know I read it. Like Where the Red Fern Grows. I know that's about like, what is it? Like 2 hunting dogs and this kid or something. I don't know. I feel like one of the dogs dies and that's where the red fern grows or some shit. I literally cannot remember.
Spoiler! Oh my god!
I feel like it was a sad book. I read that in like elementary school.
Oh no. Gosh, I don't see. I was a very defiant child, and when people told me to read stuff, I didn't do it. But then we had Spark Notes, and I look. I graduated high school, so everything turned out fine.
Yeah. Well, it's like in high school. In high school, I was very fortunate that anytime we did have like an assigned reading thing or whatever, my mom took me to the bookstore so I could get my own copy and whatnot. So I didn't have to use the shitty school copies. And the benefit of that was very telling when we had to read Shakespeare, because I would get the No Fear Shakespeare books. So one side of the page is like English I can understand, and then the other side of the page is Shakespearean English. So anytime the teacher's like, we're reading lines and teacher's like, what does this mean? I'd raise my hand and be like, this is what that means. And people are like, how do you know that? I'm like, because I got normal English on the other side.
You're like, isn't it obvious?
Right? You don't get this? Come on.
Which Shakespeare did we read? Oh, we read Macbeth.
I did not read Macbeth.
Romeo and Juliet, of course.
I did Romeo and Juliet.
I did Taming the Shrew and Midsummer Night's Dream.
Midsummer Night's Dream, yes.
The Tempest.
Hamlet.
I don't think did I do Hamlet?
I feel like I read Hamlet.
We didn't do Hamlet.
Those are the only 3 I like distinctly remember.
I remember liking A Midsummer Night's Dream because it was so chaotic.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah, Midsummer Night's Dream was my favorite. I had to do Romeo and Juliet twice, and I think that's why it's one of my least favorite of the ones, and because you know how you have like there's those memories in your life where you're just like, oh, that's never gonna be erased for some reason, and you wish it would be.
Are you talking about exes here?
No.
Oh.
Romeo and Juliet, one of the assignments we had to do in high school was like, we all had to get into groups or whatever. So it was like a group of 3 or 4 of us, and we had to pick a scene to act out, but we had to use like a modern song that would also like go with it. So we did the scene of Romeo's friend dying.
Okay. Mercutio.
And the song that they picked in our group was Had a Bad Day.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And so now anytime I hear that song, I'm just like, oh.
First of all, how dare you dishonor your Mercutio that way? Because he is arguably like the most fun character.
It was more Romeo was having a bad day because his best friend died.
Okay, how selfish Romeo. This isn't about you.
I mean, his name's in the title.
I know, but like, oh, I'm taking it so personally that my friend died. I'm just like, I think your friend is more upset than you are.
Probably. I mean, he's dead though, is he?
Yeah. But he went out still serving cunt. When he's like, ask for me tomorrow, you shall find me a grave man. Like, who is cracking jokes on their deathbed? Probably me.
I was like, I probably will.
But yeah. Yeah. Also, it has one of the all-time tropes that I hate, which is a miscommunication trope.
Yeah. That ending.
And This is why teenagers shouldn't fall in love, because if you just waited a little bit
Oh, yeah.
and been like, "Was she alive?" or if the friar was like on standby, like, "Hey, Romeo, psst, 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 psst."
Right? She took something. Just hold on. Give her
Did
5
he not know
minutes.
how to feel for a pulse?
Probably not.
Or-
I mean, but it wasn't the
No.
whole thing that it like slowed down her like
Yeah.
pulse.
Okay, but at one point, Romeo's even like, "You don't look dead, and you're still kind of warm."
Yeah. Yeah, right. Those
It's
should
like,
have been your
girl-
clues, sir.
It's like, I know he's rich, but he's as smart as a bag of rocks. Like, that guy is not the sharpest tool in the shed. Like, come on. See, this is what happens when you just go for pretty boys.
Right.
You end up dead.
Oh.
He was
Yeah.
dumb.
Ooh, okay, so Charlotte's Web.
I remember Charlotte's Web.
That one made me cry.
I was like, I liked Charlotte's Web.
Yeah.
Did y'all have to read? So this is interesting because like some of these are like books I read in elementary, middle school, and I was in Florida from the second to the beginning of 8th grade. So I don't know if y'all read some of these books. Like, did you have to read because of Winn-Dixie?
No.
No.
Okay. I don't know. I think she lived in like a trailer park or something somewhere in the South, and she finds a stray dog at Winn-Dixie, which is like the little grocery store. So again, that's one of those ones where I'm like, I know I read that. I don't remember what
Just like a typical Florida day.
it's about. I don't think it was in Florida though. I want to say it was like a Carolina or Georgia, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. What about Hatchet? Did y'all have to read Hatchet?
No, but I
No.
did read that in elementary school.
Okay. Yeah.
I read that on my own free will.
Oh, okay. See, I think I had to read it for 4th or 5th grade. I can't remember. We read it like as a
that's
class.
the one about the kid that's in the plane and he has the hatchet and he has to survive.
Yeah, it crashes and he's like the only survivor or whatever.
Yeah, how old is he supposed to be?
Ooh, I don't know.
Like a teenager?
Oh, I think maybe. Let's find out.
Yeah.
The Hatchet novel.
Did you have to read Into the Wild?
I did not. I saw the movie.
No.
Oh, that could be a good book to movie adaptation.
Dude, The Hatchet came out in 1986.
What?
Yeah.
I read it. We're not that old.
He is 13 years old.
13, and this poor kid has to like survive the wilderness
as he travels from Hampton on a single-engine Cessna bush plane to visit his father in the oil fields of northern Canada. For the summer, the pilot suddenly suffers a massive heart attack and dies. Brian tries to land the plane, but he runs out of fuel and sees nowhere to go, so ends up crash landing into an L-shaped lake in the middle of a vast forest. Brian survives the crash with only a few minor to severe injuries. And then throughout the summer learns how to survive on his own in the vast wilderness with nothing but his windbreaker and a hatchet.
Oh, wow.
Does he ever get found?
How fun for us.
I didn't realize that came out in, what year did I say?
86.
I thought that was like we were reading it because it was brand new, but that's not the case.
Yeah, I never had to read that, but it's like still on a reading list every now and then. We get people in the store asking for it.
Yeah.
Also, Outsiders. I never read Outsiders, but that is always on a reading list.
You never read Outsiders?
No.
I've never read that either.
What? Oh my God. I think I read that. I've read that twice. I feel like I read it freshman year and then maybe again some other time. Oh, I love The Outsiders. That would be a good book to movie adaptation.
Yeah.
I love the movie. Oh, because The Outsiders on my list as well. Oh, I can't believe y'all haven't read that. I love that one. Stay gold, pony boy. Stay gold. Oh. I'm going to make y'all read that.
What is that?
That's going to be my next pick. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. What about Holes? Did y'all have to read Holes?
Yes.
No,
No? Okay. I had to read that one
but I
for
have
school.
read it. I only read it because my sister did.
Yeah, I don't think I had to read it for school, but I did read it.
Okay. That was another
Yeah.
one that we had to read.
Yeah, I liked Holes.
That one was depressing. Why did they give us so many depressing books in school?
I don't know, to crush our spirits.
Like, hey kids, life is horrible.
Because
Like, yeah, we know, we're going to public school in Texas.
if anything, that was maybe the only real life thing they prepared us for. Because they didn't do a good job with anything else.
I'm thinking now they made us read a lot of like survival stories. Like we have The Hatchet, we have Outsiders, we have Holes,
Well,
Lord of the
Outsiders,
Flies.
I guess that's kind of survival, sort of.
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, Lord of the Flies. I love Lord of the Flies. It's so good.
Yeah.
I had to read Life of Pi about this kid who like is on a boat in the middle of the ocean.
I didn't have to read that one.
With like a tiger, right?
Yeah, with a tiger. But the whole thing's a metaphor, and I got very confused.
I feel like they had people read that like too young.
Well, like we read it in, I want to say, sophomore or junior year.
Okay.
I think sophomore year. And everyone was talking about like the part where he has sex with the tiger. And I would like go to this part and I was like, I don't get it. How is he having sex with the tiger? Then like the tiger isn't even really a tiger. It's a man. And he's like, wait, so he had sex with a man? What? Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I need to pick this book up. I knew the tiger was a metaphor, but wasn't really a tiger.
Everything's a metaphor.
I'm so confused now.
I'm like, what the? And I took it at face value, and everyone else was like, "You took it at face value." How quaint!
I hate that.
And I was like, I don't. It's like, okay, if I think of this as real people, it doesn't make sense to me.
Listen, perfect example of this is history, not my favorite subject in school. I love it now.
Same.
Hated history.
I love history.
Animal Farm. If I hadn't been specifically told that was all like a metaphor or like, representation of what was going on in Russia, I thought it was just a weird book about farm animals.
To this day, have no idea anything about Animal Farm. I remember being so confused.
I remember liking it, but I remember being very confused how it was compared to like the Russian communist stuff that was going on. I'm like, wait, what? I just thought these pigs are kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy ass pigs.
I never read it because I think at one point we had, because remember at Fulmore they would give us like summer reading lists. Yeah. And they'd be like, read this before you go to class. And then we did that. And then they'd split us up into groups. And we had to talk about books. And I was like, I didn't read any of this. I was like, I don't do homework on non-company time.
Right.
But what was it that I read? Oh, Heart of Darkness.
I did not have to read that.
I didn't have to read that.
Some man named Marlowe traveling into the depths of the African Congo.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a tiny book, but I only got into like the first 10 pages and then we had to do a book report on it. And I was like, you guys got this right. I was like, I did not read it. But, and I had to read Watership Down.
I want to read that so bad. Because I did not have to read it in school, but like the movie traumatized me.
I didn't have to read it.
I had to read it in middle school.
Oh, shit.
It was one of those books.
I don't remember reading it.
No, I read it in middle school. I didn't have to read it for middle school.
I gotcha.
I don't remember.
Okay.
But I thought that was a metaphor for stuff, but no, it really is about bunnies.
The cartoon scared the fuck out of me. With like the battle
I
scene
will not watch the cartoon
that happened.
It
was terrifying.
I was engrossed, but then after that, I was like, "What did I just read?" Yeah,
I was like, I sort of read Dante's Inferno. It's a funny story about that.
I've read some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to read that.
So I was supposed to read it in, I think it was sophomore or junior year of high school. I was in AP English because I'm an idiot. And that was one of the books we had to read. And I started it. And at the time of starting it, but not completely finishing it, my English teacher decided that I was not a good fit for her class. So she kicked me out.
Oh, wow.
And I got put into regulars English. Oh, that's fine. She was a bitch. I wasn't going to do the work.
Oh.
I was going to fail big time if she hadn't kicked me out.
Yeah.
So she kicked me out of her class. With me, she literally sent a list to the counselor of like 4 or 5 students to remove from her class.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know anybody that liked that woman. So yeah, she kicked me out of her class, and then I got put into this freaking Miss Cowan at Crockett.
Oh my God, I hated her.
She was insane. I don't think she wasn't okay. She shouldn't have been teaching children. She shouldn't have been allowed near children.
Nope.
She would literally wear skirts above the knee and then sit on like one of the student desks with her feet like in the chair. And I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, we can all see your underwear.
Ew.
Please stand or sit at your desk. What are you doing? That woman.
See, at my high school, we could pick either regular AP or advanced AP.
Oh, fuck
there was no
that.
choice but to pick AP.
Well, you also went to, what was it, like a magnet school or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should not have been at that school, but that's another conversation. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I got smart my senior year. Stopped signing up for fucking AP classes.
Yeah.
Well, my senior year, I had like 2 free periods, and it was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. My senior year, I took a single period of pre-cal. And then I texted my mom after the class, and I was like, you need to contact the counselor. There's a aquatic science class at the same time as pre-cal. Please have me switched. So I never went to pre-cal again.
I had to take pre-cal.
You know, I took AP like math. Yeah, and I tried to get into pre-cal, and they put me in piano instead.
What?
No, guitar. They put me in guitar instead. And I was like, I tried to get my mom to switch me, and they're like, oh, there's no room.
Oh, we could have had my
And
spot.
now you're telling me that like you left, and I'm just like, you mean there was a spot?
There was a spot. I'm so sorry. If I had known that you wanted it, I would have made sure to be like, hey, you need to put Elaine.
Pre-cal.
But how does admin mess that up?
Okay, literally admin fucks
I
up
know.
my freshman year of high school. And I don't regret this at all. I appreciate them fucking it up because it changed my life in the best way. But my freshman year of high school, I was supposed to be taking, it was either health for one semester and then equine science for the second semester.
What?
Because I loved horses and you could take equine science. So I was like, fuck yeah.
You're a horse girl.
So who didn't love ponies growing up, Liana?
I didn't. I didn't get the hype.
Oh
I
my
didn't
God.
get the hype.
I had friends that had horses in Florida, so that was fun.
okay.
I loved horses. So I was like, cool, yeah, I'll take equine science and then we'll go ahead and get health over with. Well, I got my schedule and it said animal science. And then the second semester equine science. I'm like, what kind of health class is that? That's weird. So I went to it, and that is what got me into FFA and 4-H, and I did welding and I raised animals. So I was obsessed with pigs and cows at the time.
Mhm.
And the teacher was sitting in there and he's like, oh, if you join FFA, like we do stock shows, blah, blah, blah. It's too late for goats and lambs, but we do have hogs coming up. And I was like, I can have a pig? Are you kidding me? So literally afterwards, like that was, I think, my like last class of the day. And I was talking to my mom and she's like, oh, well, I can talk to the counselor about getting, I'm like, no. I want to stay. I want to talk to this man about getting a pig, and I want to join FFA. And now Mr. Duncombe is a lifelong friend and mentor. And I had a pig and 2 lambs. Or 3 lambs.
Considering it's in the middle of a city, you wouldn't think that that'd be like the school for FFA.
I
But
mean,
there you go.
it's not
Yeah.
the school for FFA, and our farm that we had the animals at was out in a man shack or whatever, so it wasn't at the school. And then my sophomore, junior year, can't remember now. I was vice president of FFA, and then the principal at the time got rid of the entire ag program. So my teacher had to find a new job, and everybody that was in welding or animal science or equine science, and then I forget what else he taught something else. They didn't have it anymore. So I had to join 4-H after that because it's outside of school, which is stupid, but whatever. I'm still bitter about that bitch ruining my high school plans. So, yeah.
So were there any books that you guys liked reading in school?
Yes.
Which ones?
Okay, so I liked Holes a lot.
Yes.
The Outsiders, Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yes.
I enjoyed Animal Farm. Kite Runner. I ate that shit up. That surprised.
I didn't have to read that.
That surprised my, I think it was world history teacher. Because we picked that book, or she had that book, and we had to get like waiver signed and stuff. And I literally came to class like ahead of schedule, and she's like looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, listen, I know I haven't really done much good work since then, but if you had just picked books, would have been your number one fucking student.
I don't know if I want to say I loved it, but considering the subject matter.
Well, but it's still a good book.
Definitely. It blew me away. I think it made me cry.
Oh yeah.
Especially at the end when he's like, for you 1,000 times or something like that.
Yeah.
For you 1,000 times after. And it's just, that book tore my heart out.
Yeah, I loved Kite Runner.
I was just so angry with the main character for so much of the book, because if he had just like, I don't like using this phrase, but manned up.
Yeah.
And so many things could have gone differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then actually my mom read it after, because I told her she should read it, and she agreed with me. She was like, oh my God, that book. I'm like, I know, but I don't think I could ever read it again. Yeah, it's one of those books I can only read once.
Yeah.
And get affected by. And that's it.
I also really enjoyed, I liked did I already say Lord of the Flies? I can't remember now. Night. I loved Night.
I haven't read that one.
That one's really good. I also, I loved The Hound of the Baskervilles, which is like, I think a Sherlock Holmes story. Yeah. And then I am obsessed with Edgar Allan Poe. Obsessed. I love his short stories and his poems. I have a whole book of his completed works.
I really liked The Giver.
I didn't have to read that for school, but my sister did. So I read it with her because she had a book report. And so I could help her. That one was good.
I've read it. I had to read it in middle school. I had to read it in high school. I read it like outside of school.
Yeah.
I've read it so many times. It's one of the books I've read a lot. And I feel like I learned something each time. And I just love it.
Did you read the sequel? There's a sequel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a quartet.
Okay.
The Giver is a quartet. There's 4 books. I've read all 4. I love it. So the second book makes it seem like it's a completely different story.
Okay.
You're just like, how does this go with it? And then like the third book kind of continues from the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all kind of comes together in the last one.
Okay.
Like the 2 stories come together.
Okay.
In the last one. My mom has read all 4 of them too, and she's just like, I love it. And she goes, "You're right. They all came together in the last one."
Okay.
Because I was like, "What?" And I was like, "I told you." Like, it's gonna seem like a different story, but then it comes together.
That's funny. What else did you like from school?
I remember really liking Fahrenheit 451 too.
Oh, that book made me so angry.
I still haven't read that one.
But that was really good.
We read The Great Gatsby.
I didn't read that till after high school.
Frankenstein.
I didn't read that.
Oh, by the way, everyone, we went to separate high schools. So,
Well, if they listened to episode 1, they should know that.
yeah, but
if you didn't listen to episode 1, go back and listen to it.
FYI. Because mine was a magnet school, so they were like, we're going to read adult books. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I know that we read The Odyssey.
Yes.
I actually read that 3 times.
We read part of it.
I read that in 8th grade. I read it freshman year, and then I read it again in college, and I was so pissed. Like, there are other books, people.
We read part of that, and then we read I think we read like Beowulf and
Beowulf and Gilgamesh.
Grendel. I didn't
Gilgamesh, yes.
Grendel.
Yeah.
Oh, that book was so creepy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't read Gilgamesh until college.
I was like, I don't think I read Gilgamesh.
But I remember reading Beowulf and Grendel in school.
We read Of Mice and Men.
Yes, I've read Mice and Men in high school.
That was sad.
Did you ever have to memorize the prologue to Canterbury Tales?
No.
No,
but I feel like I remember us reading it.
I had to memorize a monologue from Shakespeare.
So yes, we had to memorize. I think it was middle school, and then again in college, we had to memorize the prologue to Canterbury Tales, and that we would have to stand in front of the class and recite it.
I don't remember ever remembering anything to present.
Oh, lucky.
If I did, I blocked it out because
it was that traumatic.
Yeah, I hated presenting things.
Yeah,
I was never good at memorizing anything.
I love reading The Tale of Judith.
I don't think I read that.
Yeah, I don't think I read that.
Yeah, it was. I think it's from the Old Bible, the Old Testament. I don't even think it's in the Old Testament, but basically, it's like, and like this is the only thing that I liked from my English lit class in college, because the English teacher I had that previous semester, he was incredible. I loved him. He actually had my dad in a class, which was funny. And he's like, "Are you so-and-so's daughter?" I'm like, "Yeah, how'd you know?"
Oh my
and
gosh.
Like, I see it. He's like, "I can tell. You both talk a lot." I was like,
that's funny.
Okay. Apparently we like to stir shit up. Me and my dad. But yeah, he was supposed to teach world literature, and I even asked him before I registered, I'm like, "So are we talking about like the world like according to Europe, or the world like the actual world?" He's like, "Oh, the actual world." It's like, sweet, then I'll enroll. And then he dropped it, and then this like old Southern white lady decided to teach it, and it was like an exact copy of my 8th grade English class.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, we had the Odyssey, we had Gilgamesh, we had Beowulf, we had one of the Shakespeares. I'm just like, I've done all of this before.
Right?
I hate it.
Like, everyone has read this.
Yeah, but what we didn't do was The Tale of Judith. And it has become one of my favorite tales ever.
Okay.
And she's been immortalized several times through art. The most famous being Artemisia Gentileschi's Judith beheading Holofernes.
Okay.
And I used to think if I ever had a kid, I would name her Judith, but I'm not having kids. So maybe I'll like just get a dog and name her Judith.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah.
It's funny because I was like, I'm a huge fan of Sailor Moon, and I wanted to name my kid like Serena or
Yeah.
Darian. But I was like, I'm never having kids. But I named my car Serenity.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if I ever have a dog, I'll just name her Judith.
Yeah.
Or maybe like I'll get a stake in my future niece or nephew's middle name. It'll be like,
Oh,
name
there
him
you
Judith.
go.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
yeah. I won't. That's not gonna happen. But
I mean, if Marissa has more than one, maybe.
I have baby fever for them.
Oh, really?
I just need them to have babies. I do. I mean, she kind of does for herself, but then she also knows, she's like, no. And I was like, it's because you're 30. And she's like, what do you mean? Like the moment I turn 30, all of a sudden I'm like, my clock is ticking. I mean, I don't want it to, but
I
it's
have the
ticking.
exact opposite.
Because like I'll see cute kids and I'm like, oh, they're so precious. And I have to be like, no,
No, they're not.
we're not going there. We're not going there.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, no babies for me. Did y'all, so I assume this happened for you, Elaine, since we went to the same school. But freshman year of high school, they read Oh, the Places You'll Go. And then senior year of high school, they read it to you again at the end of the year. It's all sad and emotional. Did that happen for you?
No.
I was very lucky that my freshman year high school English teacher is one of my favorite teachers I've ever had, Miss Ganaway. I'm so sad I didn't get to go to her retirement party that they did. But
I had her for her senior year.
yeah, okay. She was one of my favorite teachers I ever had in all my school years.
Fun fact, we went to middle school with Miss Ganaway's kids.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know what's his face.
I mean, I didn't know them, but
what,
yes, we did.
Shane and the youngest one were at Crockett.
Yes.
I didn't know the older one.
Casey,
yeah.
Yeah.
Or was Casey a senior when we were freshmen? The name sounds familiar.
Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, I had her freshman year and then I got to have her again senior year and I was so excited. And then, yeah, I cried like a little baby when she read that our senior year.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh, emotions.
I did like her. I really liked her. Like I never really liked English class too much, but I really enjoyed her class.
She was amazing.
Senior year. When I first started working at my bookstore, she came in one time and I was like, oh. Of course, she didn't recognize me.
I'm friends with her on
That's
Facebook.
Oh,
And she
really?
writes like a blog thing now.
Oh.
But did y'all have to read Sophie's World?
No.
Nope.
I read part of it.
We had to read something by Hemingway, but I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I read part of Sophie's World, but I think that was another year where I was in AP English or pre-AP English. And then they switched me to regulars. That happened twice in my life. People.
As I lay dying. Sorry. It just came to me. As I lay dying.
Oh,
Ugh.
I was like, what the fuck?
The book. Gosh, I didn't like a lot of the books we had to read in school.
Ooh, did y'all have to read The Yellow Wallpaper? I think that's what it's called.
Yes.
No.
I read that in college.
Yeah, I had to read it in college.
Yeah, I read that in college.
I liked that one.
I like that one. I'm terrified of the color
Where
yellow
she just
now.
where she goes insane just a little bit every day.
Yep.
It's like, don't we all? Don't we all? I don't remember a lot from English.
No.
Well, like my college English, what was it? English 2? Yeah. English Comp 2. The teacher or the professor I had, like, we had a book is all full of like short stories and like
the anthology.
it was so it was a Saturday class, so it was like extra long. So she would assign like so many of them for us to read, and then we'd like get into the classroom and like rearrange the tables all into like a giant circle. so we could discuss them all. And I'm just like, I literally, out of all of them, that's the only one I can remember the title of, because there were so many books or so many stories that we had to read for her class. I'm trying to think of what else.
I had to read The House on Mango Street. That one I really liked.
Yeah.
The Glass Menagerie. I really
Ooh.
liked that one.
I had to read The Woman Warrior by Maxine Hong.
Okay.
Yeah. It's about, so it's like a memoir, but then it also is a little bit fantasy. She grows up in California and she has immigrant parents from China. And she talks about like all these lives that she's lived. She even talks about at one point she was Mulan and had to fight as Mulan and got pregnant. And so she was extra fearsome because she was so big. People thought it was muscle, but she's...
How did you confuse that?
I don't know. She's been working out.
I feel like that's a very distinctive look.
Maybe she hit it well. I don't know. But yeah, no. We had to read I liked that book, The Woman Warrior. Yeah, I don't know. I think, gosh, honestly, I blocked a lot of school out of my mind. And now I'm just reading books on like curatorial practices and critical art theory and ethics in art. And it's becoming very philosophical.
That sounds fun.
Now we're learning about NFTs and digital art and archiving, and I have to write a fake exhibition proposal that's going to go into a portfolio. And I'm like, but why? I just did it for work. Now I have to do it for homework.
Can you just like copy and paste?
I was going to say just copy.
I thought about that. I was like, is it technically plagiarizing if
it's your own work?
My
no.
work?
No. Plagiarism is of someone else's work.
I've had to write several, and so I thought maybe I could just copy and paste what I've already written.
I fucking would.
Meanwhile, Board of Education, please don't expel me.
It's your own work. You can't plagiarize your own work.
Very true. Very true. At least, yeah, I hope not. Because they just drilled it into us. Like, we always have to submit it through some kind of website.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Plagiarism definition: the practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as one's own. You should be good.
Okay. Well, no, it's past me's idea.
That doesn't matter. It's still the same brain in your head.
Yeah. It's still me. It's still me. I thought of it all by myself.
I would do it. Yeah. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever have to read a book called Out of the Dust?
No.
Oh, how lucky you are. It is like a collection of like, I don't know if they were diary entries or like poems.
Is it Hesse
or something? It was fucking horrible, whatever it was. Yeah, by Karen Hesse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Ooh. For whatever reason in Florida in the, was it 6th grade? I think it was 6th grade. We had a reading class, which I was like, this could go well. Well, the teacher of that reading class was like the teacher in the school that had all like the crazy rumors and stuff about. Like the rumor was that she like cut off her cat's ear and like put it on a necklace and wore it every day. I never saw it, so I don't know.
She was a witch?
Not a fun one. That lady was insane. But yeah, she absolutely loved this book. We spent so much time on it, and it is the most boring thing I think I've ever read in my entire life. Don't recommend it.
I'll stick with my Clucanian alien men who go to husbandry school and make pleasuring women their number one priority.
No, stick to that.
Yes.
I think that book was like about like the Dust Bowl, like moving out west, and it was horrible.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
Is it weird that I don't really remember much of the Odyssey? And every time I think of the Odyssey, I keep thinking of that Wishbone episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
See, I always think of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, yeah. There's that.
Oh,
Yep.
yes. I remember that.
There's
too,
also
yeah.
a Simpsons episode.
There is.
Yep. Ooh, now I'm going to have the soundtrack for Oh Brother, Where
Mm.
Art Thou stuck in my head.
It's a great
It
soundtrack,
is an
though.
amazing
I did
soundtrack.
I did like when we read a book and then like watched the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember watching the movie to A Midsummer Night's Dream after we read
Yes.
it.
That was a good one. That
Yes.
was a good one.
I loved it.
With all the British people.
Yeah. We read Leonardo DiCaprio's.
I was
Romeo
about to
and
say,
Juliet,
which
too.
Romeo and Juliet did you have to watch? Because I've seen both.
Yeah, we watched that
I've
one. We
seen-
watched DiCaprio.
I saw that one, and then
I
with the
feel
original.
like I've seen both. I feel like I've seen both in 2 different types.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Romeo and Juliet was the one or the Leonardo DiCaprio was the one I remember the most. I remember watching To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes.
After
Mhm.
reading
Oh,
the
that's the one I
book.
forgot to put on
Oh,
here. To Kill a Mockingbird.
Well, it wasn't To Kill a Mockingbird. It was. It has. Oh my gosh! It's a courtroom drama. It's a movie. It has Matthew McConaughey and Samuel L. Jackson. At least, no, it's not Samuel L. Jackson. Oh my god, that's gonna bug me. It was based off a book. A Time to Kill. A Time to Kill.
1996. Yeah, it's Samuel L. Jackson. Sandra Bullock, Matthew McConaughey,
Okay.
Kevin
Yes.
Spacey, Donald Sutherland, Kiefer Sutherland. I used to have the biggest crush on him when he was in Lord of the Rings. Or not Lord of the Rings. Sorry, Three Musketeers. Three Musketeers.
I would not get excited about that book/movie because it starts because a young girl is like,
I think I've seen this.
yeah. We watched the movie too, but it was an edited version in school.
Mm.
So, but still,
I can't believe you got to
It
watch
was-
that in school.
Yeah.
it's such a good movie, so good. But I will never watch it again because of the subject matter.
That looks rough. I think I've seen that though.
It was rough. It was a lot for my little school brain.
Yeah. That's why I just read the little description. I'm like, y'all read that or watch it in school? What else? Ooh, I mean, we've already talked about this in the nonfiction episode, but I had to read A Child Called It for my psychology class.
Yes.
That was rough.
Yeah.
I
I know some people read A Clockwork Orange in
Nope.
school. I never did, but I did read it outside of school.
How was that?
Watched the movie. It was interesting.
Because
I will say I read it.
I was not a fan of the movie.
I read it and I was like, okay. And then I watched the movie and I was like, okay. I think I understood it better after watching the movie.
I understand. Yeah, like I totally understood like the movie and whatnot, but it was not. I don't think I'd watch it again.
It was hard to read because there's a different language, and so
Yeah.
I remember having to keep going to the back
Mm.
because it gives you like a dictionary like in the back.
Yeah,
and be
yeah,
like, okay, and then like reading it and just be like, hold on, wait, I forgot what that meant. Okay, so it was like really hard to read, and I think that's why like after watching the movie, I understood it a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. Ooh, did y'all have to read something called The K?
No.
No.
It was like it's almost like a I don't know. I vaguely remember it being kind of like Castaway. It's like this kid and this guy end up
Again.
being like shipwrecked or whatever,
Why
or the
are you
survivors
reading
of shipwreck thing.
these stories as children?
I know.
It gave me, like, as someone who was prone to fear very easily as a child, now we know it's because I had undiagnosed anxiety. I was so scared to just like step outside my house.
I've got a fun one for you. Did y'all read Bunnicula?
No,
No,
It is-
but
have you seen
I've
it?
heard of it.
It's like Bunny
Yeah.
Dracula, and he
Yeah.
instead of like sucking blood because he's a bunny, he like sucks the juice out of vegetables. It was adorable.
So he was vegetarian before Twilight made it cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's all I remember is that like he would suck the juice out of vegetables. I think that's all the ones on my list that I can think
that's all
of.
I got, guys. I will say we read too many books by men. Too many survival stories about
Survival, yeah.
you know, trying to avoid
Yeah.
near death experiences. Dystopian stuff, 1984, Animal Farm, Fahrenheit
forgot about
451.
I didn't have to, I think I read 1984
Um,
outside of school.
Maybe they were just preparing us for the inevitable future where we're actually living in the
Yeah, that was their subtle way of preparing us for the real world.
yeah.
Nothing else I
It's
learned
like, hey
did.
kids, just so you know, when you're adults, it's going to turn into the Hunger Games out there. So you better be ready.
Right. All right. Well, I'm good with that. Are y'all good with that?
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, instead of a what this week, we just got a few announcements. So, the next episode that's going to come out is not going to be episode 12. It's going to be 11.5, which is going to be a St. Patrick's Day special. That will come out
for me.
Just for Liana. It's going to come out on St. Patrick's Day. So we'll give you more details about that during that episode. The other announcement will be the book we're reading for March's book discussion is going to be A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. And that episode is going to come out on March 26th. I do have a Discord set up if anybody is interested in joining. I know Elaine and I are in there to have like book discussions and whatever. I've got a few other people that showed some interest. So if you want to join that, send us an email or DM us on one of the social media accounts and I can get y'all the link because I haven't decided yet if I want to make it completely public or not. I'm not that we have, thousands of listeners, but I don't know how I feel about being responsible for too many people's enjoyment when it comes to Discord because I don't know what I'm doing. But that's what we got for that. Is there anything else y'all would like to add?
Nope.
No.
Alrighty.
Make good choices.
Thank you, listener, for joining us. Please rate and review our podcast and follow us on our socials listed in the description. We also have a Discord now, like I just mentioned. If anyone wants to join for monthly book discussions, please email or DM us topics, questions, book recommendations. Have a lovely day and week. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.